Today's meeting, a regular meeting of the Yountville Town Council to order. It is Tuesday, November the 19th at 3 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Reeves.
Here.
Councilmember McKee-Cant.
Here.
Councilmember Knight.
Here.
Vice Mayor Tripp.
Yes, here.
And Mayor Mueller.
Here, thank you. Can we all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. And can I get a motion, unless there is any changes, to adopt today's agenda, please?
Move to adopt.
Second?
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? That passes unanimously. Any council meeting announcements for today? Seeing none, I am going to move on to proclamations and recognitions. We have none. Now's the time for public comment for anything that's not on our agenda. I see one public shaking his head no. We will close that comment. Thank you. Let's move on to our consent calendar. We have 6 items today. I understand, Councilmember Reeves, did you have a comment on one of the consent items?
Mayor, I would like to remove item E from the consent calendar just to add some language to create more flexibility with how we replace.
If you could hold that till I'm going to try to approve the rest, and we'll come back and
okay.
carry on with that. Anything else? Okay, can I get a motion to approve items?
Madam Mayor,
Yeah.
could we just ask for public comment on the consent before you approve? Or
I'm not going to approve. I'm just going to get a motion in a second, go to
then-
public. Yeah.
apologies.
Can we just get a motion to then approve items A, B, C, D, and F?
I move approval of the consent calendars A, B, C, D, and F.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have any public comment on this? Seeing none for the public, I will bring those items back for a vote. But wait, before that, Councilmember Knight, did you have something you wanted to
No.
make a comment?
I was jumping ahead and voting. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Well, we're going to just go ahead and do a voice vote. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, any abstained? So items A, B, C, D, and F on our consent calendar have been approved. And I know we're going to have some more discussion on, or just a little more detail on some of these from our Director of Planning later on, Aaron Heacock, under staff presentation. So now, if you can go back to your statement you were making about consent item E, Councilmember Reeves.
Okay, I wanted to pull this item to discuss a change in the language of the resolution to reflect a need to maintain our urban forest and replace significant trees with the largest tree that can be reasonably planted on an appropriate location. And also, we're an older population in town, and residents want to see the replacement as a true mitigation and replacement. And when we lose a significant tree, it leaves a hole in the fabric of the forest. So also on the climate change front, a larger tree does sequester more carbon. So it just feels like the flexibility in the language of the resolution to allow for fewer trees, larger trees where possible would be appropriate.
Okay. Before I go to turn, just one comment there. It's really interesting with larger trees. You're correct that since they're more dense, full of carbon, they have more carbon, so that's just the amount. But actually, in terms of accumulation, a faster growing tree like a baby tree is actually probably taking more actively out of the environment.
Well, we're not talking a fully grown tree here.
I just find it fascinating how all this kind of works. So anyway, let's go to our town attorney for her recommendations.
Thanks. So in light of the discretion that the reviewing authority has under Municipal Code Section 17-128070 to sort of lay out what size of trees they want to replace a removed tree, so long as it's equal to the diameter of the removed trees in inches, we recommend that instead of specifying replacement of 8 6-inch diameter trees that's contained in recital F, we would remove that language specifying the 6-inch diameter trees and instead say the replacement trees shall be the largest size trees reasonable under the circumstances as recommended by the town arborist and in accordance with YMC section 17-128070.
And do we not need to change number 2 of that same resolution? Or does that follow once you change that?
Right. It says in the ratio and locations described above, so it incorporates that recital. I don't think it needs to be changed.
Okay, great.
So that would be your motion? Mm-hmm. Okay. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, do we have any public comment on this consent item E? Seeing 2 people in the public shaking their head no, I will bring it back to council. We have a motion and a second, some discussion. Vice Mayor Tripp.
I was not clear who the staff report mentions a permit, and then later I read it is within the right-of-way of the town. Is this a town undertaking, or was there an individual who is responsible for the permit? I wasn't quite clear on that. And the reason I ask is because the replacement obligations and the rest will fall. Yeah, I just wanted to know who's going to be responsible.
I believe that this is a town tree in the town right-of-way, so the town is responsible for the replacement. Is that your question?
That is, and so I'm sorry, because this probably is more falls within Public Works. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, and Deputy Director Rosalba Ramirez can help if needed.
So my other question was, does the town really need a permit to take down its own tree?
Rosalba, would you like to take that one?
Yes. So we like to follow the same rules that we put out for others. So if a permit and the arborist review is required for residents, we follow that same practice. So we had our arborist review it, give us his assessment, and we went from there. We will be applying for a permit and following the same requirements.
Okay, so in terms of the decision-making on the size of the tree and whatnot, and what the replacement will be, that will fall upon the town, right? So we will be able to use our discretion as to what suits best. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Knight, question, discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. It's a question maybe for the Assistant Town Attorney. Under item F, and I apologize, I didn't get a chance to review the Yountville Municipal Code before the meeting today. On F, it says that which shall necessitate the planting of 8 6-inch diameter trees. Is that language, so that, I guess my first question is that language not in the Yountville Municipal Code? Was it just a recommendation as a part of the resolution?
Correct. That was just a recommendation that it's given as sort of an example of the kind of ratios that can be used to replace. It needs to add up to the diameter of the tree that's going to be removed. So I think our municipal code gives in parentheses, it can be 2 6-inch trees for a 12-inch removal or 1 12-inch. It gives sort of an et cetera in parentheses. So there's flexibility there. Okay.
I was only mentioning that because at some point I know maybe next year the town arborist will be looking at our potential, looking at our heritage tree ordinance or just our tree ordinances in general. So I would assume, and I appreciate the good work he does, that we'll probably be looking. His work will probably lend some review of the municipal code to see if we need to clarify the municipal code language for tree replacement. So I'm sure we'll have that discussion next year. Thank you.
All right. So for any more discussion? Seeing none, would you like us to continue with the voice vote? Is everybody, any more discussion? No? All in favor of consent item E?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? We have completed the consent calendar for the day. And we have no guest presentations, no public hearings, no administrative or regular items, correct, acting town?
Correct.
Manager? Okay, staff presentations, we have some of those, correct?
We do. Thank you,
Okay.
Mayor. I will start it off and just say that Administrative Services Department will be ready to move forward to launch some recruitments based on the items that were approved by the Town Council tonight. And also that finance staff have been working with the auditors on the annual comprehensive financial report, which will be presented to the Town Council at the December 3rd meeting. And I'll pass it to Director Holland.
Sorry. Technical error. So just a quick reminder, Sunday is our town and tree lighting, and that is rain or shine, and starts at 4 o'clock this year with the children and family activities indoors, and then we'll move outside at 6 o'clock to light the town and the town tree. So it should be a really great time. You may have noticed a lot of work going on at Yountville Community Park, and that's in preparation for the shade sail project that's been ongoing for quite some time. And so this week, or last week, they dug the 14-foot holes for the anchors, which was really a big undertaking. And then this week, pouring concrete, but the weather's put off some of that work. So we're looking hopefully to wrap up in mid-December. Rosalba's really on top of that project. And you also may have noticed work going on at Chaos Pamplona, the sculpture there between the Bartisono and the Community Hall. So that sculpture was installed in 2011 and is going under some renovation to preserve it for a long time. And our Parks and Rec guide for winter spring should be in mailboxes the first week of December. So it's at the printer now. Thank you.
I have a quick question. I'm always hearing we've got a really high water table in town. You went down
Yes.
14 feet.
We did not hit water. We did a dance.
All right.
We were very excited. We did not hit water.
Oh, interesting. All right. Another thing
They
to
would have
note.
had to do some redesign if we did.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'll go now. So I'd just like to say a few words about item D from the consent calendar this evening. So first, we would like to very much thank the council for approving this new classification, and we look forward to getting recruitments going and getting the department staffed in the coming months. As you know, there are currently 3 previously filled positions that are currently vacant, and we're looking to fill those 3 positions with the deputy director and a management analyst position. And this will mirror the structure of other town departments. We have a town clerk, a deputy town clerk, a public works director, deputy public works director. So this will create parity between the town departments. And hopefully this will elevate the department with greater experience and expertise for better overall customer service. We'll be able to handle more projects in-house, and they'll be capable of representing the town at countywide planning efforts such as the NBTA Technical Advisory Committee, the Regional Climate Action Committee, and things of that nature. So the hope is to have a capable and flexible department where everyone can do what is needed, everything from phone calls to the public counter to complex meetings to reports to the council. So again, thank you, and that's all I have this evening.
So Director Heacock, the Vice Mayor has a question.
Thank you for the report. And I wanted to clarify, this is not an increase in headcount. It's a elevation of one of the positions. Is that correct?
Correct. And
Okay.
it's actually going to be a decrease because there are currently 3 positions that are
Okay.
vacant, and we're looking to fill it with 2. We'll see how that goes as time goes on, but we think that we can manage with that lower staffing level.
Okay. And I very much like that idea of people being able to do a variety of things. Yeah, that's a good thing at all levels. Thank you.
We have, as everybody can see, some forecasted rain coming our way this week. We don't anticipate it to
Can you just
cause.
go quickly for the audience?
Rosalba Ramirez, Deputy
Thank you.
Public Works Director.
Not
Sorry about
everybody
that.
might know you.
So we do have some rain in the forecast this week, starting tomorrow. Tomorrow and Thursday are probably going to be the heaviest days, and then it's going to lighten up throughout the weekend, so we don't anticipate seeing any problems. Our sandbag stations are in effect at the south end of town. Communications has put out some social media posts to let everybody know. Again, we don't foresee any big issues, but they are there if residents would like to use them. Our recent storm drain cleaning annual program has cleaned out some of the storm drain issues that we had previously. So last year was a great help, and so we expect it again this year to really help the water flow during the storm. So that's just in preparation of the storm. We don't see a big concern, but we are prepared just in case it does turn into something bigger. And then another project update, if you have driven into town on Solano, the Solano Avenue Pavement Rehabilitation Project has completed. They were able to do the final striping just before the rain came and before it got colder, so that's great. So we are doing some final field site visits just to catch any remaining items we may have missed. But for the most part, that project is complete. And our part of our grant to assess our streets and determine the condition assessment will incorporate the new changes to Solano Avenue in our update. So we hope to hear from them early 25. And I have
And get a PCI of 80.
hopefully
Okay.
so trying to repair streets in advance of other streets deteriorating is always that kind of game, but we hopefully caught up a little bit this time.
We're doing great. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
We have a question for you from the Vice Mayor.
Thank you for your report. My question has to do with Hopper Creek, and yes, it definitely has been greatly cleaned up recently and then last year. It's difficult when large branches come down to do much about that because we don't have a lot of clearance. And I know last year, I'm trying to recall when we had one of these famous or infamous atmospheric rivers, but there was actually people from your staff, I believe, who were checking to make sure the branches did not clog up things. Fortunately, this is a weekday.
Yes.
I'm guessing you're going to be on deck for that, because I think that was really helpful last year.
Yes, and that's also one of the great things of having weekday rainstorms is that we're here and we can do frequent checks, and if there is something that clogs that Commissioner Oak Circle, we can go out there and clean it up. And then we do have staff, especially if it's going to be a large rainstorm, who will make it a point to come in on the weekends to make sure it's not clogging up.
Yes, last year there were folks out there on Saturdays and a Sunday, so thank you for that, and thank you for keeping your eye on that.
Thank you.
And lastly, Mayor, I just have an update from Communications. Want to remind community members, including residents and business owners, about Yountville Commons engagement opportunities. There will be a series of dinner and conversations coming up on December 8th, January 12th, and February 16th, starting at 4 p.m. An RSVP is required for these events, so if you are interested, please visit our website, click the Yountville Commons button, and navigate to the RSVP site. And that's about it for now, but we look forward to having more residents engaged and encourage those who have yet to participate to get on that list and come out and contribute their thoughts.
Doing a great job. So thanks for doing that. Councilmember McKee-Kent, question?
Yes, I wanted to ask, since we are encouraged not to attend just yet, I was curious with the November 14th, how was the registration?
November 14th was almost to capacity, and the reason I emphasized the RSVP part is because there were a number of people who did not RSVP that came, and those who RSVP'd who did not. And so it's important for planning purposes that people do that. But all in all, it was a great turnout, and I feel like the conversations have really helped inform the process, and we hope that continues to be the path.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Any other staff informational reports? Nope. All right. Any council external meeting reports in the last 2 weeks? Nope. Nothing from...
NVTA had closed session, and we meet again tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, we do meet again tomorrow. All right. Now we are going to adjourn our meeting to the regular meeting on December the 3rd at 3 o'clock. Can I get a motion in a second, please?
I move adjournment.
Oh, second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. No opposition, no abstentions. We are finished with our day's meeting. I think we're going to declare this a record for 2024.